America didn't become rich because it was destined to. It didn't happen simply because of freedom, democracy, or hard work. Ideas we're often told are the full story. In fact, for much of its early history, America was poor, unstable, and economically insignificant compared to Europe. So here's the mystery. How did a former colony, largely rural and underdeveloped, transform into the richest industrial power the world had ever seen in just over a century? And more importantly, who actually benefited and at what cost? The answer lies in a chain reaction unleashed by the Industrial Revolution, a force that didn't just build factories, but rewired society, wealth, and power itself. In the late 1700s, America was not an industrial nation. Most people were farmers. Wealth came from land, not machines. Manufacturing was small-scale, done by artisans. Where Britain controlled global industry, finance, and trade, but cracks were already forming. The American Revolution had cut political ties with Britain, but it also cut access to British factories and goods. That created a problem, an opportunity. Key figures like Alexander Hamilton understood something crucial. Political independence meant nothing without economic independence. Hamilton pushed for tariffs, a national bank, and domestic manufacturing ideas that would quietly shape the next century. The stage was set. The twist was coming. The Industrial Revolution didn't arrive in America all at once. It began with stolen ideas. British textile technology was tightly guarded, but in 1789, Samuel Slater, former British apprentice, memorized factory designs and recreated them in Rhode Island. This single act ignited America's factory system. Cause and effect followed quickly. Water-powered mills replaced hand labor, output skyrocketed, costs fell, profits soared. Factories clustered near rivers, then railroads. Towns became cities. Capital money used to make more money began to accumulate at a scale America had never seen before. By the mid-1800s, industrialization exploded. Steam power, railroads, steel, oil, and mechanized agriculture transformed production. Figures like Cornelius Vanderbilt, Andrew Carnegie, and John D. Rockefeller mastered scale, efficiency, and consolidation. Railroads connected the continent, turning America into one massive market. Factories standardized goods, banks financed expansion. Wages were low, hours were brutal, but output was enormous. The result? America didn't just grow, it compounded. Industrial wealth fed infrastructure. Infrastructure fed productivity. Productivity fed profits. By 1900, the U.S. had surpassed Britain as the world's leading industrial economy. But beneath the riches, pressure was building. Industrialization made America rich, but unevenly. Factory owners amassed fortunes while workers lived in overcrowded tenements. Child labor was common. Workplace deaths were routine. Economic power concentrated into monopolies and trusts. Boom and bust cycles followed. The same systems that created wealth also created financial panics, layoffs, and unrest. Strikes erupted. Populist movements formed. The question was no longer how to grow, but how to survive the growth. Progressive reforms tried to contain the damage: antitrust laws, labor protections, financial regulation. But many fixes came late. Were weakened by the very industrial giants they targeted. Even when reforms worked, the core structure remained. Machines replaced labor faster than society could adapt. The Industrial Revolution didn't evolve. Attempts to fully balance industrial capitalism repeatedly fell short. The Great Depression exposed how fragile the system still was. Later, globalization and automation repeated the pattern. Massive gains at the top, pressure everywhere else. Each fix treated symptoms, not the engine itself. Today, the story feels familiar. Technology companies now play the role factories once did. A small percentage controls vast wealth. Productivity rises, but wages lag. Shocking parallel. During the peak of industrialization, the top 1% controlled a similar share of wealth as they do today. Different machines, same logic. America's wealth wasn't accidental. It was engineered through industrial systems that rewarded scale and capital. Every wave of growth creates imbalance unless actively managed. Wealth concentrates. Technology doesn't decide outcomes. Policy, power, and timing do. The Industrial Revolution made America rich, but it also showed that growth without balance creates long-term instability. The real question isn't whether America can innovate again. It's whether it can learn from the last time innovation rewrote everything. If you want to understand where today's economy is headed, you have to understand where it came from. If this story helped connect the dots, like the video, subscribe for deeper economic history. Share it with someone who thinks America's wealth was inevitable, because history says otherwise.